Well, hello everyone. We're back here again. It's just unbelievable all the things that we've been able to do. I am so excited today to have Mrs Frances Bisby with me, and wow, you are such a jewel. I want to publicly thank you for all the things that you've done for Juniper Level, but beyond that, for the Panther Branch community and all that you can bring to the table. And when they say people have a plethora of gifts, I think that's you. And so I wanted just to start off today talking about this Southern Anchor. What is it? What is this Southern Anchor that has been introduced to us? And
Southern Anchor is really a pilot, and it has been born from a concept called the community anchor.
Okay.
Southern is just the region geographically. It's also strategic because as part of bringing resources to a community member or to an anchor, such as Juniper Level, what we really want to do is emphasize how important it is to connect to our southern regional centers with our Health and Human Services Department. Wake County has a very robust resource hub with all of its departments as well as its connectivity to nonprofits across the county. And so our Southern Regional Center was part of the idea behind calling this the Southern Anchor because of proximity. When we say a community anchor, we're talking about a trusted member of the community that is an organic place that convenes people. And our goal and our purpose is to build resiliency in communities that have some sort of history of either being under-resourced or perhaps they're geographically isolated from access to resources. Perhaps it is about a cultural isolation or disabilities, veterans, just anyone that has a need. And it doesn't have to be delineated by socioeconomics or by a negative. It could just be someone that needs a good neighbor. But the idea behind it is to build resilience, and that is the ability to adapt and overcome if there are adversities and even thrive because there is a network of supports around that community or that group. And we hope that we can replicate this across Wake County. I've been very fortunate that so many of our community partners, Safe Child, for example, SOAR, have all come around this concept and this idea and really supported it in the growing resilience movement, that this is a working model. And certainly Juniper Level and your staff, your coordinators, your community, your church members, everyone has just been a joy to work with and so receptive and open to anything that we could bring to the table. So that part has been wonderful.
Well, I just want to say we're so grateful because when you talk about the community as a whole, and we think about the Panther Branch, we think about the Juniper Level area, Sauls Road, 1010, Old Stage Road, 42, and that southern part of Wake County, we thought, man, we just don't want to be a church or even with the Rosenwald School,
right.
We wanted to be a place of a resource. And so for us, that's what we found it to be, that the networking and also bringing all of this Safe Child. And we've just completed the first cohort. And what a wonderful, that has been I don't have words to explain how the positive impact that they've had, and as well as now going into rap and doing different things like that, the resiliency training. And so I just, again, maybe this is second and maybe third or fourth time, I want to say thank you for that. And it's like, as you said, it's just a pilot. And but for us, I want you to know it's been extremely successful. And I think you talked about the mission and the goals of just trying to say, hey, if there's anyone that needs help, and trying to also be a place where people can come. I almost call it like a one-stop shop.
Right,
where
hub.
you can just do it, a hub.
Right, exactly. And the idea behind having an anchor is not to recreate wheels, not to bring our ideas in, but to listen to what you as an anchor know about your community, what is relevant, what are you trying to do, and then our purpose is to just strengthen the activities that you have. And if you have a vision for something else that you want to expand to help you find resources and supports that are already existing. And I'm going to back up because you've said some very kind things, and I appreciate that. But this is about a collaborative effort between nonprofits and faith-based and missions and agencies, private sector, and just community advocates. And I've been fortunate to work with most of these over the last 7 years, and I'm a little bit of a systems geek, and it was clear that Wake County is rich in resources, and the disconnect is how do we reach people where there's something that they need and they want, and we can help people with needs find the organizations with resources. Because if you're in crisis or if you're having a problem, it's hard enough just to manage what it is that's on your plate.
Absolutely.
Without adding into that, having to find where do you go to get help. And so what I found working through reentry, with homelessness, with human trafficking, and all of the different focus areas that are a part of my own work, is that the resources are there, the programs are there, the classes are there. That, the idea of having internships that you can engage in while you're in high school for free at Wake Tech, and then skip the affordable housing crisis. But how does a family know that that's there? Navigating to these resources is very difficult. And if we really want to talk about what equity is, this is equity in action. This is going to where people are, where families are, where the help is needed, and working through a relationship where there is trust, because it's going to make a big difference if if somebody like myself comes in and says, oh, I know exactly what we need to do, versus if someone that they know, like yourself, if their pastor comes to them and says, wow, this is a really tough thing to navigate. I have some folks that can help you walk through this, and here's the journey we're going to take together. That's an entirely different approach.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect, because I think that, and the reason why we continue to say thank you third time is the fact that when we look at it, we, even as a pastor, and almost 25 consecutive years as pastoring, well, now over 25 this year, I didn't realize that all of these resources was there. And oftentimes we struggled with trying to help someone, but really didn't understand how to help them.
Right.
And so this partnership and this Southern Anchor and all this networking that's going on is really beneficial for everyone. It's a win-win. The people are being blessed by it. And we feel that from the church, from the Alliance, from the school, that this is making major impact.
I believe it is. And if you look at the buzzwords these days, and what people are focusing around is the understanding about the impacts on a family, a person in a family, from adverse childhood experiences, the benefit of social determinants of health, how protective factors can be brought in. And so if we're talking about economic stability, we're talking about concrete resources, we're talking about education and training, health and wellness, well-being, mental health, stigma reduction, and then you're talking about protective factors like social and emotional supports. Do you feel safe at home? Do you feel safe at school? Do you feel safe in your community? All of these things are what we're platforming and springboarding from to connect resources that align with these principles. And so I truly believe that, the trajectory of someone's life, the outcome of a child, to give them a little self-esteem, to know that they are supported, that they are important, that they can advocate for themselves. All of these things come from these touches that we've been working on since we started.
And I think that if there ever was a time, it was needed. Mm-hmm. It's now.
It is.
With this pandemic, I would love to say now that we're on the other side of the pandemic. But,
let's hope.
Right. And so when we think about that, this is added. We had these a lot of these concerns, and I call them OFIs, opportunity for improvements. They've always been there. Mm-hmm. And now we've just added the COVID, the trauma, the grief, all of us, what we've experienced through this. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we've been able to wrap our head around what we've experienced.
Oh, I think going into it, we were already in trouble.
Absolutely.
If you pay attention to NAMI and mental health and the assessments that came out, 1 in 7 of our youth were at risk for self-harm.
Wow.
Before the pandemic. Now it's 1 in 4.
Wow.
It is truly a cry for change and doing things differently. We have to be able to get deeper into the community, and we have to do it with urgency. Okay. And so I believe that this is a process because it's adaptable. We also are opening up a conversation around another anchor, which we, Building Connections, works with neurodivergent children. So she is our children's inclusion anchor. So that's a totally different model than what we're doing here at Juniper Level. That's more about a population that is under-resourced, and the needs that they have are completely different and focused around how do we support those parents, how do we find training for individuals and professionals that can come in and provide respite care and some time, some decompression time for parents. So that it's very adaptable to any need, and it's really about what's important to you. You were working with children already. You were tutoring. I think your community understands the importance of education and training in terms of upward mobility. It really is the key. And to have had the pandemic create barriers, additional barriers to what was already there for education and making sure that our children in our communities are successful and have the resources that they need. For you to bring the tutoring and the opportunities that you are, it's just an honor to serve and support you in what you're doing.
Well, I hear all of that, and fourth time, thank you again. But I still would. I think what's exciting for me is to get people help, mm-hmm. and it's from birth till that time that for us that life is over on here, but it's the quality. Mm-hmm. And what I've seen in this is that these programs have given hope, is encouraging, and is there to assist even from the education of through elementary, middle, high. But as you talked about partnering with like Wake Tech and how to help them with internships and And just recently, we had someone that needed to that they needed help to navigate through. They were in their 20s, and you've been able to talk with them and just move that forward. So I just, we're just excited about where we're going. You talked about the impact of all of these different programs, that many of them were already in existence. I think that's probably, for me, the most, I guess, rewarding for me as a pastor, and I think as a church and a community, is it's rewarding. That's the sweet part of it. The bitter part of that is that if we had known about some of these over the years, we would have been able to help others out. But now we don't have to worry about that. It is here. And I want to, when we think about these, are most of these programs, is there a cost with those?
Well, we try to use the nonprofits and the programs through Human Services that are already existing. You were working with youth, and also had a family focus as well. So we have worked to bring mentorship. So we've had YM4C, which is mentorship. We've had Recovering Communities of North Carolina come in with also with mentorship for children. We've had Meals on Wheels came in and was supportive with the Seniors Cafe, and Juniper Level was the recipient of a warmer. So, just all of the different activities and services that you were providing in the community, we've just been able to come alongside and connect nonprofits. Wake County has over 2,000 nonprofits, and many of
2,000.
Over.
Wow.
And most of them are cataloged on the Wake Network of Care. But we find that it's that relationship that is the difference. It's one thing to be able to identify where the resource is and what it is, but it's something else to be able to bring it in through that relationship.
Exactly.
And I've in the 7 years that I've worked as an advocate in the community and a kind of volunteer on steroids, I have some pretty cool tools, not because I'm all that smart, but because my friends are really smart. We have, engineers and planners, we have graphic designers, but they're all organizations with a heart to help. And they have come in to, wherever there's a need, we try to find someone who's really talented to help. And I can honestly say that the case managers, both with Wake County's Human Services, with the nonprofits, everybody's texting at 9, 10, 11 o'clock. You send out a, hey, I need help with, and you're going to get an answer back, because the people in these organizations are amazing. They're passionate about their work, and they want to be here to serve and to help and support communities. And the biggest problem they've had is being able to find and reach in the outreach, to have that capacity to do the outreach and to find this level of connection. So it's a benefit to the nonprofit. It's a benefit here. It helps keep our costs down. We haven't run into a time yet where it incurred a cost to the participant. We are always in hot pursuit of grants for that support, but we've been able to work through programs that are already funded. Family Resource Center, South Atlantic has come in. We've had 4-H. You've had 4-H came in. The county brought a nutritional program that started up.
Absolutely.
Crystal Taylor's Get Happy, which is, they have all kinds of activities that really help children through a time to heal and to be able to talk about things, and also work with STEM programs and things that work with math and science and stimulate those areas of the brain. So the people that we're working with are amazing.
It is, and I really want to give a shout out to Wake County. Mm-hmm. Wake County, the county commissioners, the from the 4-H to all of with working with Catherine Williams and her team and Carlos and Heather.
They're absolutely amazing.
And the list just goes on and on and on and on. It's just been unbelievable from that. And then even when we look over to the food insecurities.
The Capital Area Food Network and Sydney Klein.
And Sydney, how
she's amazing.
She is amazing. And so it just went on from there. And then,
Wendy Gant, Alliance.
Wendy with Alliance.
Absolutely.
With the mental health. And then you talked about NAMI. And the list just keeps growing of the opportunities of being there to help. And I think that has brought us to an excitement now of knowing, man, there's help. And so when we talk about the information, we've just, even with the track out, we've just had to pivot and started offering track out in the daytime for those parents who didn't have a safe place to bring their children. I guess, where would they get this information? I know that we're working together on maybe some type of newsletter or so, but how would they get some of this information, more information, if today is not enough, and because we can only talk a little bit about what is really going on.
Well, and that is an ongoing process as we fly and build the plane at the same time. But again, we do have a newsletter that goes out. We have been using the Southern Regional Center has been kind enough to help us distribute that to their families that are engaged in programming there. We use your congregation, and I'm a big believer in grassroots and that communication system. It goes out through our community partner network, and we are looking into how we can push it out through Wake County Schools. I understand they do have an email blast that we can use, so we're working on it. But it's those relationships too in the schools that you support, and going out through the principals and their staff members to be able to, put hands on the families that need an alternative for childcare.
And really, Wake County School has been great, and we just want to give a shout out for all of those as we work with the different schools. Of course, we had adopted Rand Road Elementary some years ago, probably about 7 years ago, and it just has, we also Garner, want to give Garner High, as we definitely supported Garner High and now South Garner, and it's just growing. So if you had to, have you thought about growth and what is the next steps?
What is that next step for Juniper Level, or is that next step with community anchors?
Well, our goal is we're hanging on to wherever the community anchors go. That's where Juniper is going. We're just going to hang on. We're just going to be, if you're flying, we're going to be in the luggage. If you're on a bike, we're going to be on skates, and we're holding on.
Well, we're continuing to, listen to your direction about things that are important and relevant to this community, and we're continuing to do outreach and work through our networks to try to find things to support. So we'll continue doing that. You're not getting rid of me. I've adopted you.
Absolutely.
I'm your coach.
Absolutely, and we need coaching. Right. But we went on a tour for job fairs. Yeah. We've had job fairs, and
we've had a resource fair where folks could come through as they were going on to your food hub to stop and get resources from community nonprofits that came that particular day. But that's the beauty of this, is that we can design whatever it is that you need, not by the fact that we are doing it ourselves, but that we reach out to nonprofits and community partners that have the programs and are already working towards fulfilling and finding solutions in some of the areas that you have pointed out. And One was, all right, if someone in a congregation would come forward with either chronic unemployment or needing help with new employment, then, what employment organizations are out there? And we went to Dress for Success. We went to Step Up Ministries. We toured the regional centers so that staff, because that's part of it, train the trainers, right, is to equip you to be able to help the people that are here in your community when they come to you. So we did a whole tour that way so that your staff members could see if someone came to them, what are the resources that are there. The Dress for Success can come in and they can talk to young people about best ways and techniques to interview. They will help provide clothing for an appropriate interview outfit. If you are successful in getting that job, they will give you up to 10 items of clothing so that you can start because you feel good, right? You feel good when the way you look.
I was shocked to know that for them, specifically, a young lady could come in wanting to maybe even get coaching, how
Mock
to
interviews.
set up resumes, how to look for a job, and then get the outfit
that they need for
that interview. Right. And if they get the job, up to 10 additional outfits.
Right, so they can get started.
And there's no cost with that.
No cost with that.
Unbelievable.
And Step Up Ministries, I believe their program, follows through with someone as far as 18 months trying to.
Oh wow, 18 months.
It can extend that far, but they work with the entire family, not just that one person. So a single mom with a child coming through there while they're going through their classes and their coaching, and there are activities and things for their children too. So they really cater to the full need of the family unit when they come in there to help that person find a sustainable and living wage employment. So
it's been unbelievable, the ride, and I think again the networking and to know that there is help out there. And we're bringing that help to the community. I just want to applaud you and the team.
The team.
The list goes on and on. That's the danger of starting to name any organization.
Absolutely, because this is a village. It is a village, and my part is very small, and it has been a blessing, like I said, over the last 7 years to work with people like Vielka Gabrielle, to work with Alliance and Wendy Gant, and like you said, it just goes on. And it's just knowing that the people who are boots on the ground have a heart to serve and to help. And this is a way to get closer to home. We're taking help closer to home. This is about equity. It is about opening access, helping people navigate to the resources that they need. And it's not about, it's about a hand up, and someone to walk with you on the journey. And that's a gift and an honor to be a part of.
Well, you just don't know again how much we are thankful. I think the future is still bright.
Yes.
And we always thought about, we talked about the holistic approach and what this has helped us to look at and view from this panoramic view of how do we help, but we are able now to help in so many areas from that spiritual side, but also knowing that we can do what we need to do, but there are others that can come in and do their part, and together we're a village.
It is a
and
village.
I just believe that it still takes a village.
It still takes a village. And, it's one of the first nights that one of our organizations came in, and Alliance led that particular meeting. It was just kind of a moment to decompress before the holidays, to have some very frank discussions about how it's okay not to be perfect during the holidays, and it is a
Absolutely.
stressful time, and it
Absolutely.
was about support for the parents that were there. And you know, I think it was what was wonderful, there was a pastor there, and there were some needs that came out, and that we were able to make a connection and provide some support that would not have happened, because they're just, as a community member, there's a tremendous distance between your household and where the help lives.
Absolutely.
And you have bridged that gap. So it's a beautiful thing to watch and to see.
Well, we still believe that the best is yet to come. Well, everyone, I want to just thank you for viewing. We've got more of this that's going to come as we talk about the opportunities. Miss Frances, thank you tonight for being with us. And we're, for the 5th time, we're so thankful for all that you have
and
done.
for all of our partners and the team that makes
Definitely all of the partners.
Absolutely.
And Bruce Murray with the YMCA and Angie's Restaurant and all of those things.
and
that are
everybody
going on.
that has come alongside.
Everybody. So if we didn't mention you, just know we are so indebted to you. Well, it's been a pleasure and an honor, and we'll see you all real soon.